Welcome to the Talking Book Voices, the podcast. Get ready to embark on the adventure with us as we dive into and celebrate the magic of the Texas Talking Book Program. Let's raise our voices together and make the world of literature accessible for all. The Texas Talking Book Program is a division of the State Library and Archives Commission and serves as a regional library for the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, a division of the Library of Congress. The Talking Book Program provides specialized library services to individuals who have a qualifying visual, physical, or reading disability, such as dyslexia. In each episode of the Talking Book Voices, we'll delve into the heart of the program, uncovering its history, sharing inspiring stories, and exploring the vast collection of materials it has to offer. We'll bring you the latest updates, interviews with program experts and patrons, and useful tips to make the most of this invaluable program for Texans and beyond. So whether you're an avid reader, someone who with a print disability seeking accessible materials, or just curious to learn about this great program, this podcast is made for you. Don't forget to visit us at www.texastalkingbooks.org for more information. So let's begin the Texas Talking Book Voices, a podcast by the Texas State Library and Archives Commission.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jemima, and I'm an engagement specialist for the Talking Book Program. Today, we're speaking to one of the many amazing people of TBP that are vital to making what we do possible, our machine lending coordinator, Michael Gonzalez. How are you doing today, Michael?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Great. Well, let's get started then.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do at the Talking Book Program?
I manage the machine lending agency for the Talking Book Program. I am in charge of the specialized devices that our program circulates to patrons. The technical term is audio playback equipment. And I inventory, I circulate, service and repair that equipment for the patrons of our program in the state of Texas.
Awesome. So what led you to your current position, and how long have you been in that role?
I began in circulation at TBP sometime in the late 90s. And I worked in circulation for about a year. And during that time, I did a lot of crossover work for the manager of the machine lending agency, doing things like checking machines in, checking machines out, cleaning them. And after about a year, the manager, she decided that she was going to retire. And, during that time, all that experience, I had started to develop ideas about how I would run the machine lending agency. So I decided to apply. And it's been well over 25 years now since I've been in that role as a machine lending supervisor.
Wow, that's amazing. 25 years. So what has kept you committed to TPP's mission for so long?
Overall, I think, generally speaking, I have and I place a lot of value on doing things that make the world a better place, right? And we certainly do that here. And it's not a situation where you have to be, anybody can do it. You don't have to be a superhero. You don't have to cure a disease. You don't have to do, any of these super amazing things. If you can, then it's great. But I always feel like anything that you can do to help people makes the world a better place. And that's what we do here at the Talking Book Program. And it's that sort of fulfillment that you get, just understanding, I'm making people happy here. I'm providing a service for people, allowing people to read who might not otherwise be able to read standard print. We're talking about blind and physically handicapped folks, right? This is what I'm talking about. Can we make the world a little bit better? And I think that's what we do here, and that's why I feel that I've been able to do this for as long as I have, because there's value in that.
Absolutely. I would agree. That's one of the big things that drew me to the program as well, is just being able to touch people's lives like that and make a difference in the world. So
Yeah.
I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what is the most rewarding part of your position in your job?
Yeah. Without a doubt, the most rewarding thing is the feedback that we get from patrons. And I specifically receive We're talking about messages. We're talking about notes, letters. We're
Mhm.
talking about Christmas cards. That all comes to me first.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yes. So uh, we get that in the mail every day. Every day. Thank you notes. Christmas, checks, money. They send it to us.
Mhm.
Not so often with the money, but it has definitely happened.
Yeah.
So this sort of feedback, right? Understanding that people actually appreciate that, what we do. They show that in the different ways. It means a lot. It means a lot. It means that what we're doing is making a difference, and it feels good.
True. Very true. Because sometimes if you can't always see the patrons maybe in person, being able to get those notes, being able to get those messages, and hearing how what you're doing is changing their lives it reminds you of why you do what you do.
It does. It does. It definitely reinforces the the concept of what we were just talking about before. What are we doing here? We're making the world a better place.
Mhm.
And this sort of interaction, you know, talking to people, receiving the letters, it proves the point. We definitely are.
Absolutely. So, what would you say is the most challenging thing about your job?
The most challenging thing is the technology that changes, annually, yearly,
Mhm.
daily, kind of. For me, and not to get too far into the weeds, but um, what we use to control our inventory, right? We call it an inventory control system, right? These sorts of things. The technology involved in that can be challenging. There are some other challenges that I have. I work for the state of Texas, but I distribute and circulate material from the Library of Congress, right?
Mhm.
So I have a lot of different people to answer to, so to speak. So that can be a challenge. Communication and compliance.
Gotcha.
These things can be challenging too.
Okay. So, is there a specific moment or patron interaction that stood out to you the most over the years?
Um, I, yeah, not specifically, but it's because it happens so regularly.
Mhm.
A lot of times, a son or a daughter will come to our warehouse,
Mhm.
and maybe their parents have passed away, and it's their responsibility to take care of some of those things, returning library books, returning materials.
Mhm.
Okay. I talk to these people in person a lot of times. And a lot of times these folks will get emotional,
Yeah.
right? And they'll start explaining, "Well, my dad loved this program.
Yeah.
This service meant so much to my mom,"
Mhm.
right? And it's this has happened many times, so it's not like it's a one-off. This happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it's these personal interactions that really strike at the heart of what we're doing, right?
Mhm.
And you can tell, by talking to their kids,
Yes.
right? What we're doing and how important it has been for the lives of people.
Absolutely. Totally agree. So, can you give us a quick overview for those who might not be familiar of the types of machines that are available through the Talking Book program?
Sure. The most common machine that we circulate is a digital talking book machine. There are two variations of that, but basically, it's a machine that plays an audiobook that is on a flash drive. It's a rectangular shaped flash drive that's large and tactile, just like our machine. The
Mhm.
machine is able to play books that you can get from us, or if you have your own books on a flash drive, the machine will also has a jack that you can plug in your own flash drive if it has books on it too. So The digital talking book machine is by far the most highly circulated machine that we have.
Mm-hmm.
We also have begun circulating Braille e-readers. And Braille e-reader is a machine that can play a book, but rather than have it be an audible sound that you listen to,
Mm-hmm.
the machine will play back in Braille. So you would use your fingers then to read that book. So the digital talking book machine, the Braille e-reader, those are the two machines that we circulate by far the most. In the near future, we're going to have a new iteration of the digital talking book machine that will be Wi-Fi enabled. So along with the ability to play books that you physically have, and
Mm-hmm.
also books that we will send to you, you will also be able to download books from the internet, just like modern devices use. Modern devices like an iPad, which would use a specified app like Audible. Our machine will be able to do that as well using an app from the Library of Congress called Bard. So that is in the near future.
So, from when you first started to now, what are the biggest changes you have seen in the program's machines and equipment?
When I started, we were distributing record players, big, yellow, chunky record players. And at the end of the 90s, going into 2000s, we started circulating cassette players. Moving forward, 5 years later, we started distributing digital audio players.
Mm-hmm.
They played plastic, rectangular cartridges that had books on them, whereas before there were books on tape, and then prior to that, books on record. Moving forward now, there are different machine models that we use that are even more technologically advanced. So the changes that I've seen over the 25 plus years that I've been here,
Mm-hmm.
tremendous technologically speaking, right?
Yeah.
From record players to now you can, or soon you'll be able to download books directly from the internet.
Yeah.
You won't even need a physical book.
Yeah, it's crazy how the difference that just a couple decades can make of just starting one place and then things are completely different.
It's crazy. It's completely crazy. And I've been fortunate to basically see it all. Yeah. So if anyone ever comes to see me in my office, I have kind of like a museum of
Oh, yeah.
relics that you can check out, including big chunky boy record players
Yes.
and tape players that kind of span the time that we've seen here over the past few decades.
Yeah, kind of a visual TBP timeline
That's right.
of all the things.
Yes.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit near the end there, but are there any updates or upgrades or new machines in the works that you're particularly excited about?
Well, we have a new Wi-Fi enabled machine that's upcoming, and that's very exciting. I like these new, we call them machine models.
Mm-hmm.
These new Wi-Fi enabled machine models. I like them because they can compete with iPhones and tablets and the modern devices like an iPhone or a tablet, which can use an app like Audible, and through those apps you can purchase books and use them on your touchscreen devices. But with ours, I like ours because our service is free.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, so rather than have to use a modern touchscreen device, which may be difficult to operate if you're a patron who is blind, physically handicapped, or can't otherwise read standard print. Our specialized device is different than those modern devices that aren't tactile at all. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the fact that they can compete with these in the sense that you'll be able to download books directly, just like you would be able to use an app like Audible, except ours will come from the Library of Congress, and So to have those specialized devices with a service that is free
Mm-hmm.
is exciting because it allows us to provide this service to people who wouldn't be able to otherwise use modern devices and
Mm-hmm.
what, other people would normally use. That's very exciting. It's very exciting because we can keep on providing this service in a way that keeps up with technology.
Yes, absolutely. As things keep advancing, the program will continue to keep up with it and make those things accessible to our patrons.
That's really what we want, to continue to be accessible, to continue to keep up with technological advances. That's all very exciting.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else about our machines or your experiences here at TBP that you would like to share with our listeners?
Well, I just appreciate the opportunity to work for TBP. I feel like we make a difference. I feel like, we affect people. I feel like I've seen it, and I'm honored to work here. I've been here for several, decades now, and to be a small part of a program that means so much to people it's an honor, and I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, yeah. So thanks again, Michael. It's been great chatting with you and learning more about machine lending. And thank you to all our listeners for joining this episode. If you have any questions about what we've spoken about today or the Talking Book program in general, give us a call at 1-800-252-9605 or email us at tbp.services@tsl.texas.gov. Don't forget to tune in next month for another edition of Talking Book Voices. Bye!